Great. We have time to get through one of mine.
Yeah, what have you got?
Okay, I have Sir Walter Scott, one of his Waverley novels, Ivanhoe.
Mm,
Okay, so this was considered like one of the best books of all time by I think it was Lord Byron. He said
yeah,
this, Robinson Crusoe, and Tom Jones, best three books ever made. Now, obviously, that was a long time ago, and more books have been made. But
but still, I loved Tom Jones, to be fair.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This reading it, I read you like a paragraph at one point. You can tell it's high literature,
Yeah, it didn't seem
as in
easy.
it's not it's not a hard book, but it's not an easy book. There were definitely times that something happened when I was checking like some of the chapter summaries if I had missed anything, uh, and realized, oh yeah, I definitely did miss some things. There were okay, yeah, in the last like two chapters, there were characters in there, and like don't remember who this is. I have no idea what
Yeah.
this person did that was wrong. Were they an important character? Were they even named before? Like, there were two people who basically were traitors against King Richard and were executed, and had no idea who they were, essentially.
Okay.
They were some people who worked with Prince John. Prince John's basically just sent back
Hold
to
on. Is
his
Prince
mother's
John the
home.
one that is the tiger with the crown that falls around his head?
Yes,
Good.
yes. Well, lion. He was a skinny lion because Richard the Lionheart, they made him to be a
Ah, of
lion in the
course,
movie.
yeah.
So he Prince John was just the really, really like scrawny lion there. So at the end, basically Prince John's just sent back to the mother's home. And there was one other who was basically the head co-conspirator. He was just banished. So it was weird that some people were killed, but the two who were killed, I don't know who they were.
Hmm.
Just But Ivanhoe's an interesting one because it does take place in that time. We're looking at around 1192, where King Richard is being held in France, while Prince John is has basically taken over England while Richard's away. He doesn't really seem like a bad guy until the very end. At the beginning, so Ivanhoe is dressed as like a prior going around. He visits his father's place, where his father has a ward, Rowena. And basically, we don't really know what he's doing. He just came back from Palestine, where he was helping with the Crusades. He was a very, very important person in that. So, I mean, by modern uh, ways of looking at it, he was not a good person, but he's considered an amazing hero at the time. So, he ends up joining this, like, after seeing his family dressed up. His family doesn't recognize him. The father's ward, Rowena, doesn't recognize him either. But she even asks, like, right, please tell me anything about Ivanhoe. I miss him. Where is he? Stuff like that. Cedric one is the Ivanhoe's father.
Hmm.
He's trying to get this other person who's related to a previous king, Athelstan, to marry Rowena, and that's a side plot. But they end up going to a tournament, and Ivanhoe essentially like saves this Jewish man from essentially being like kidnapped and killed. And so the Jewish man is like, right, I will help you get a horse and some armor to fight in the tournament. And the prior, he dresses as a prior, of course. It's like, well, what do you mean? I'm not a knight. Of course, the Jew
Okay.
is like, nah, I can tell. You're too muscular. You're too fit for this. You're
Okay, yeah,
definitely a
yeah.
knight.
Giveaway.
And so he helps him get into the tournament. The tournament basically lasts a few for 3 days. The first one's a joust. Second one is basically an all-out brawl, and then the third one is just for shooting arrows. The joust goes really, really well for Ivanhoe, and then the second day, he's made a lot of enemies because he did so well. Basically, for the first day, his prize was to choose who the like Queen of Love and all that is. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean, but
I don't
she
know, but I
like
like it.
she's just supposed to reward the winner of the second day at the very end, but it's
Ooh
not
la
like with a kiss
la.
or anything. It's not even like to be married or anything like that either. It's just to crown him the winner with like laurel or something. Um, so he ends up
If the
choosing
Queen of Love is available,
he ends up choosing Rowena to be that. And there's also you have Isaac, who I mentioned as the Jew. He has one of the most beautiful daughters in all the land, Rebecca. So she's also very important in this. She's a healer and really supportive. So essentially, what happens, Ivanhoe does quite well in the second day, but has to be saved by this Black Knight, like all dressed all in black, because two different guys had attacked him. I think it was Boyce de Gilbert and Front de Boeuf, basically our enemies for this book.
Mhm.
And so he's injured and basically comes back in the last 50 pages. So Ivanhoe is not in maybe like two-thirds of Ivanhoe.
Goodness, oh wow, okay.
So
I
it's
mean,
kind of interesting.
is the book worse because of that, or is it fine?
I think it's fine. So we have Ivanhoe, basically, he's injured. He ends up winning the second day because he did defeat the most people, but the Black Knight was going to win, but the Black Knight disappeared. So Ivanhoe then kneels down to get his reward. He is unmasked and surprises everyone that he's Ivanhoe and not just some random
Whee.
knight, um, which is good. Basically, so he's the banished son of Cedric, who is a Saxon, I believe. And so you have the Saxon Norman whole thing, which, yeah, I don't really understand so well.
Yeah.
So then the third day, he's done. He's out. He can't do anything. And then they have the archery contest where this guy Loxley basically shows up everyone. He's able to hit a very, very tiny target from really far away. I bet you can guess who that might be. Um, and then, okay, you're not guessing who that might
Oh, you
be.
want me to actually guess? Okay, I don't
Yeah,
know.
who do you
What
think Loxley is? The one who's really, really good with bow and arrow.
is this also Ivanhoe now?
No, because he's down for the count. He's needing treatment.
Ah, then I don't know. What am I
Who's
missing?
good with bow and arrow
Oh, hold on.
in
Is
this
it
time
Robin
period?
Hood?
It is Robin Hood, who,
Ah!
and he's known as Robin Hood later on in the book, but you can kind of guess it early on. So that's basically the first third of the book. It's the tournament and kind of meeting all of your characters. So essentially, what happens next is so Cedric, Rowena, they want to travel back home, it seems like. Isaac wants safe passage, so he and his daughter are coming with, and also bringing Ivanhoe because Rebecca is treating Ivanhoe. Prince John's there leading the tournament, but he doesn't really do anything. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. He
Hmm.
just seems to not understand how to make people happy.
And why
He'll
his crown
do
doesn't fit.
he'll do or say things that just accidentally offends people.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so you're just not a good, likable, like charismatic king.
Hmm.
So yeah, people. So he is just mostly worried of Richard coming back. Um, there's word that he might be coming back. So essentially, what we get is Cedric's party gets kidnapped by Front de Boeuf because basically he wants to marry Rowena because she's gorgeous and wants to take her for himself. And then Boyce de Gilbert ends up falling in love with Rebecca, and he can't marry her because he's Christian, she's a Jewess. But he's basically like, right, I want to take you for my lover. And everyone, of course, is saying, no, you do not get to have her. Even the people on his side say, no, you can't do this. So yeah, they get taken, and yeah, so this book is split into three volumes. First one's the tournament. The second one is them being kidnapped and also the rescue. So during the kidnapping, Wamba, who is a great character name,
Well,
he's
that
the
is a good name.
jester. Well, it's Wamba, son of Witless.
Okay.
who is the jester, of course.
Of course.
He escapes, and it's good guy Wamba. He basically does everything he can to try to find people who can help him. He runs into Loxley, who helps out. They run in, the Black Knight ends up stopping off at a friar's place. The friar is incredibly rude. He's just like, I'm doing my prayers. Leave me alone. Go away. But the Black Knight just does not let him and keeps pounding on the door and basically says, I will break down this door if you do not let me in. Um, so they end up joining the cause and all try to take out this castle. Wamba is quite clever. He dresses up as a monk to go in and is able to switch places with his master, Cedric, saving Cedric's life. And Cedric is actually a good lord who gives Wamba his freedom, it seems like, or at least accolades, and um, because he does owe him his life, and
Hmm.
Wamba's just a good guy, just a good guy.
Okay.
Um, they do end up having a full-on battle, and we don't really get to see much of it. We hear Rebecca explain the battle of what's happening to Ivanhoe because she's looking out the window at it all. But
Hmm.
essentially, what happens is there's a woman who is kept there. She sets the place on fire because she's basically been taken by Fronteboeuf and essentially raped and
No.
kept there until she's old in age. So,
Do you
like,
know,
quite old.
small side note, I'm getting sick of
Yeah.
this. And to be fair, in my first story, it was a boy who was essentially raped. But I am sick of almost every month in at least one of our books, there's a rape. Like, that is insane. It's getting a bit ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. She was like daughter of a lord, and so basically forced after like the lord was killed or something. I don't
Hmm.
remember exactly the story, but yeah, so she sets the place on fire during this war and has an amazing moment out on like one of the ramparts, basically saying like singing a death song
Okay.
and goes up in flames after basically killing the guy who kept her there all that time.
Hmm.
So I think that was
Fair,
pretty
fair.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Rebecca is then kidnapped again
Oh
by Boyce the
no.
Gilbert. So he runs off with her, but everyone else is basically taken care of. Athelstane, who was supposed to marry Rowena, gets killed or cut down in this fight.
Hmm.
Except later on, surprise, he's not dead. But we don't really understand how, I don't think. But he then gives up any interest in marrying Rowena. Rowena's interested only in Ivanhoe, and Ivanhoe's only interest. Well, he's interested in her and Rebecca, but only ends up with Rowena.
I remember the name Rowena because you read something about this
Yep,
or based
a
on it or
Thackeray.
something. Yeah, yeah. I
So
remember
Thackeray
that.
basically takes it from the very end of this book after he marries Rowena. He basically says Rowena is a cold, heartless person, and Rebecca should have been who Ivanhoe ended up with. Like, okay, yeah, actually, she's the one who treats him and takes care of him and does seem to love him. And even at the end of the book, it says that Ivanhoe just doesn't stop thinking about Rebecca at times.
Oh no.
He's very happy with his marriage, but there are definitely times he will keep thinking of Rebecca.
Hmm. So
Um,
I
the
was a
last
okay. Go
third is
ahead.
basically just the last third is the weakest to me because you have the spoils of war for a couple chapters. Then you have a bit of a she gets taken to a priory or something where she's so Rebecca is ends up going to going under trial and is going to be tried as a witch. And
As
so
you do,
ends
yeah.
up having to have trial by combat. The one who's going to be fighting as the prosecutor is the one who kidnapped her. He doesn't want to. He's like, well, I'd rather just not do it.
Hmm.
But then he would die and then someone else would take over. So he's
Okay.
like, well,
Might as well do
whatever.
it. Yeah.
Ivanhoe, of course, is the one who shows up to save her, and Boyce de Gilbert dies in the joust. She's saved. Richard is shown to be the Black Knight. So the Black Knight has been King Richard the
Oh,
entire time.
wow. Okay, I didn't expect that.
We do learn that at the end of Volume 2, but that was actually really cool. And
That's cool.
then Locksley, of course, shows himself as Robin Hood, Friar is Friar Tuck, and things like
Yeah.
that.
Cool.
So I thought it was decent. It was hard to understand what's going on. I gave the full plot, basically.
Mhm.
So it might have been too much.
No, no, I mean that's
But
fine. Was it was it boring to get through though?
um, so because I broke it up into maybe like two chapters at a time, because I've been reading it for, yeah, what, 3 weeks now?
Hmm.
44 chapters, so whatever that is.
Gosh, right. Yeah.
It's still about like 10 pages a chapter. It's not too bad.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
Yeah, yeah. 450 pages total. It's kind of small text. It was, I was getting a little bit bored in part three. Part
Hmm.
one is a tournament. That's fun. Part two, you have a battle going on, so that's a bit better. When it is a trial and then giving away like the anything to do with the spoils of war, I just skimmed.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, I mean, for the first two volumes, I thought it was quite good. The
Does it get a
last
yeah, yeah,
one,
yeah?
it does get a yeah, yeah, yeah.
That surprised me.
It's
We
not
haven't
this.
given anything down the gutter today.
That is true.
You think
It's
it's not the
not the
strongest?
strongest book. I don't think it deserves to be up there with like I don't know, from what you've talked about with Tom Jones, but
Yeah, because when I read Tom Jones, I was like, okay, this is the book that essentially paved the way for every book I've ever liked, you know?
this one is still like that too in a way. This popularized Robin Hood. This
Mm,
one is it is your medieval fiction. It's what you think of. It's where I think your idea of knights and all this
comes
generally
from,
comes
yeah.
from the tournaments, the battles, and things like
Okay.
that. It does feel very, yeah, reminiscent of a lot of what we've grown up with
Okay.
for that. So, yeah, it's good. The historical bit is fine. It's obviously not the most interesting period.
Yeah, I guess.
And it is also, they really like making it long and drawn out. Some of the explanations, people have to have their like long soliloquies. It's Shakespeare-length soliloquies at
Yeah.
times. So the
Does it make you
450
want to
pages of
read
it.
any more though? Like I just checked while we were talking and this guy's written a lot of books. Like does it make you want
Hmm.
to check out the other 30 or what?
Of the Waverley novels, I have
Yeah.
no idea. I don't know. I would have to look at them and see if the plot sounds interesting. Ivanhoe, at least, is a big name. It's a very important book, but I'd have to see if the others are
Hmm.
as
Well,
stand
Rob Roy
outish.
is one, which I've heard of at least.
I've heard of that, yeah.
But the others I don't know. Some of them seem to have kind of dull titles, but I mean you never really
It's Sir
know.
Walter Scott. Like, he is a famous enough person.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
So,
fair. For some reason, I had thought that you were finding this book boring, so I was surprised to hear you give it a good review, actually.
um, it's if I had to rush through it, if I only had a week to read it, I would be like, oh my God, I have to read 10 chapters today. That's a lot. If I'm
Yeah,
just reading two or three chapters at a time, that's great.
it's fine.
And by the end of the three chapters, I'm usually pretty happy with it. I enjoy it. If I had to read, yeah, like yesterday, I think I read 5 chapters.
Hmm,
Or Sunday it was, I think I read like almost 100 pages or something. So 7, 8 chapters. That
fair.
was getting a little bit long, but